Good morning, Tempo Freaks and Raptor Freaks. Alexiot's here. It is Tuesday morning, and the Tempo lost their ninth straight game, this time to the Atlanta Dream, and they've been swept by the Atlanta Dream for the season now. Yeah, they lost every game to them this year. Last night, to me, showed a lot of progress, but there's definitely deficiencies with this team in which we need better overall talent. We saw progress though last night. Honestly, there were a lot of good things happening on the court, and I feel like we competed with them for the second half and the first quarter, but the second quarter, no, second quarter was a disaster. I think they outscored us in the second quarter 30-17. And that was a major breaking point, and that was made it really hard to come back from that huge deficit in the second half. We actually outscored them in the second half and beat them by 3 points. We actually outscored them and caught up a bit by 3 points in the second half, and we even only lost by 2 points in the first quarter. But the second quarter was bad. It's kind of crazy. I was talking about this yesterday, and it kind of showed its ugly head in the game later that night, that I feel like certain people shouldn't be in the starting lineup right now. And I don't want to cause controversy. We know who I said yesterday. And well, today, looking at their box score, it's kind of like, okay, yeah, you know, some people have been playing a lot of minutes and playing a lot of time in this season for the Tempo because of injuries, because people have not been available. So they've started playing for us a lot in the beginning, and they've been playing a lot for us the whole season since. But that doesn't mean when we get more talent and people healthy that they should continue to be in the starting lineup. And I think that this was what was evident yesterday. We had a couple of things coincide with, somebody busted out and showed up again and showed that they're back in their rhythm and they're ready to take on a huge role and play hard for us. We got a new trade acquisition that is out there playing solidly and doing amazing stuff for us in areas that we've been deficient in this season. And I have some ideas about how this could be a better balanced team. Because look, I look at the other side, Atlanta Dream, all five starters scored double digits. And then they had Jones off the bench scoring double digits. 6 players in double digits. And it doesn't have to be crazy. And three of them got 20 points. 3 of their players got 20 points. That's balance. That's quality in the starting lineup. That's a consistent night in, night out kind of thing. I think I could go through all the box scores of the Dream versus the Tempo from this season, and I would see a solid double digit output by each of their starters in almost every single game in the 4 games we played them this year. Meanwhile, we're having trouble getting 2 people in double digits, 3 people in double digits with our starters. Because people just aren't either aggressive enough, skilled enough, or doing it enough. It's not totally their fault. They're new to this league this year, and they've had a strong learning curve. And the refs have not been nice to them, for sure. For sure, y'all are getting shafted on calls. And in fact, it was pretty horrible in the first half. Sandy talked about it after the game. The imbalance in the amount of free throws that the Dream shot and that the Tempo got. We didn't get any, and it was awful. Marina had to fight so hard just to get any kind of free throws in this game, and certain people don't have enough respect to get a single free throw in the WNBA right now. There really is rookie tax, maybe even European tax, Canada tax for you to get to the free throw line. And they're real happy to put certain people. Sandy said Atlanta's aggressive, so they do draw fouls. but we're in there going in at it too, and we're not getting any respect for calls. Randy Richardson, he's probably one of the worst refs for the Tempo this year. We have lost every game with him, and between him and Charles Watson, it's the award for worst ref towards the Tempo this year is coming up. I mean, I seen them talk to Randy during the game yesterday. Sabali taking him aside, Marina, people trying to talk to Randy Richardson. He's just a dick. He's like, I'll get you next time. It's like, bro, you're not calling it the same on both ends. You're giving a ton of favor to the home team, the more established team, the team that's been in the league a few years, than the team that just showed up. And honestly, it's unfair, man. I don't know if y'all are trying to break the spirits of the Tempo players with your unfairness. If you're trying to drive talent away from Sandy Brondello's team because you're just going to say, well, this is how it is, Toronto. You get the short end of the stick. You get shafted on calls. And we're going to just, disregard any physicalness that goes against you and not look at it or do anything, not even call it. And even when you guys do get a foul and it looks like Kiki Rice got fouled in the act of shooting, we're going to say it's a foul on the dribble and not on the shot, and we'll make you side out. It's shit like that. It pisses me off. And I'm sure it really annoys the players within. I mean, you can tell. That's part of the reason why Marina looks so like bitchy, just out there like mad and like yelling and looking perturbed and looking unhappy, is because she knows that the refs whistle and the calls are really biased against the Tempo this year. Really biased, like in ways that are awful. I mean, get it. This is a rookie team. So you're going to treat the whole team like a rookie in the league and really freaking not give it any calls at all. It's messed up. It's messed up. Shame on you, Randy Richardson. You are an asshole. I'm going to say that, man, because I saw them very clearly explaining their cases to you, and you're smiling and you're like, yeah, you're a fucking asshole, Randy, because you fucking listen to them and you don't change your call during the game. Seriously. At the end of the game, they did try and even out the free throws, but it still wasn't close. It's 30 free throws for the Tempo, 30 free throws for the Dream, 21 for the Toronto. But in the first half, it was 17-3. And you kill momentum, you kill spirits, you kill the way the team feels about competing when it's so fucking unfair. Amy Bonner, I used to think highly of you. You're pretty good still. Kelly Broomfield, you're not that nice. No. And Randy, holy crap, you're a jerk. Holy crap, you're a jerk. They're trying to plead their case. Niara's saying, you're going to call it here, call it down there. Call it down there. When I'm getting hit in the face by one of them, you better be calling it too, because they're not. They're not. We're getting hit in the face. Maria's getting hit in the face. Marina's getting hit in the face. Niara's getting hit in the face. And they're not calling it. Isabel's getting hit in the face. They're not calling it. Anissa's getting hit in the face. They're not calling it. Not calling it correctly overall. Calling every third call, maybe. That's the trick that the refs do. They will. They'll do a third thing. It's really weird, man. They'll call every third foul for a team that they're slighting. That was just to show that, we are doing something. We'll count 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's a foul. Okay, we won't call that one. That's a foul. We won't call that one. Okay, the third one we'll call, just to show we're not totally biased and we are calling fouls for them, but we won't call all of them. We'll only call every third one. Meanwhile, Angel Reese, Alicia Gray, them of them going in there, they're getting a foul every time. It's like, we'll call it every other time for Angel and them, though, or maybe every time. Yeah, it's messed up. And in some ways, I'm not going to blame the refs for this game. The Tempo needed to step up more as a group and possibly power up to get over them by the end of the game, because there was the ability to try and come back and win. We saw Marina heat up again. Marina have a Marina game. In fact, I was thinking she was thinking about Kayla McBride, because she came out and she bombed 3 threes in right away. And I was like, well, if you're at this rate, you get 3 3-pointers every of the 4 quarters. You get 12 3-pointers, Marina. So let's go. Let's go. Let's go get 12 3-pointers or 10 at least, or even 11 or something. I don't know. Ty Kayla. I wanted you to have that record. You could have that record. For some reason, Marina Mabrey does an okay job against Atlanta. Her last major big game was against the Dream before. So I don't know what it is about that matchup. Maybe it's just the people that are on the Dream and she's friendly with them. So she gets up to compete. They're very tough, like in transition defense, Gray in Canada. But for some reason in half court with Marina, she's able to kind of get loose and get some of her shots going. And she does seem to have good offensive outputs in some of the games with the Atlanta Dream this year. So, yeah, it's an interesting game. Sandy's got to be happy with how they competed for most of the game. I would say instead of saying, well, we can only compete for 20 minutes, we're going to lose. That's half the game. Well, I say we competed for 30 minutes in this one. But that 10 minutes that was around the second quarter was absolutely dreadful and awful and bad and just bottom of the barrel stuff. And it sunk them for the game. You play a tight team, the team that's going to the playoffs, a team that's working on mastering things so that they can be more ready for the postseason. You can't afford to have that 10 minutes where you're off. So we're building. I mean, that's progress. 30 good minutes of play instead of 20 or 10 good minutes of play. They didn't get blown out. I mean, they did at one point, but they made a comeback in the second half to make the score look closer. So that's good. The Atlanta coach was saying that, yeah, I wasn't happy with some of the stuff and how Toronto came back and how they made the score a lot closer by the end. But then Ryan Howard caught fire with her threes. The two best 3-point shooters in the league facing off, putting on a show last night, Howard and Mabrey, tit for tat. Yeah. But Ryan Howard's final 3 barrage was very decisive for the outcome because she hit these key threes that even when we were scratching, getting close to them, put them out of reach from us getting them. And it was Howard hitting the threes. That's why I put her as the cover photo for this stream. Alas, it's progress, it's learning, and we have been swept by the Atlanta team in the WNBA for this season. When we beat them for the first time ever, it will be a sign of progress. That's right. That's all we can do is progress. Progress isn't necessarily getting a W. Progress is getting more better play overall over time, showing better fight and showing better things happening, improving, getting 1% better every day. It's tough, man. It's tough. We'll do the stars of the game. I've got the straight goods on Canadian goods. We've got the Redditors of the day. We got all the stuff we do, the classic card. It's a normal Raptor Freak / Tempo Freak stream. Yeah, so let's see what you guys are saying in here first this morning. Let's see what's up. Yeah, Trevor J's words of wisdom: at the highest levels, nothing is harder to you. You either earn it, you get better, or cry about it. It is what every level you reach demands more of you, and it only gets harder as you move up. Okay, I think I understand what that's saying. At the highest levels, nothing is harder to you. Nothing is harder to you. You're contradicting because you're saying it's nothing's harder to you, but it only gets harder as you move up. That's contradictory. Does it mean that like you get better and you can handle the harder? I mean, it's true. Once you get some mastery at a skill and you do it more and more, like Dwayne the Rock Johnson does movies, he gets better at them. You can watch his first couple movies and he sucked, but he's been in so many movies now that Dwayne the Rock Johnson's better at being in movies. Has it gotten harder? Probably. He's probably been asking him more demanding things because his first role was the Scorpion King, right? And he didn't have to say shit in that role. He just had to show up and look muscly and be in the Mummy sequel, right? Now he has a lot of roles where he talks and he has to be on camera making faces and stuff. So it's like, has it gotten harder? Yeah. Has he gotten better at it? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. But blessings to Jones family and all the Raptor Freak families. That's right. So Trevor's opinion on the game last night. Tempo bench players had the best game. 3 starters disappeared last night. Yeah. Well, it's bad when you have 5 points between 3 starters. That's bad. That is bad. And in some ways, this may actually give Sandy the ammunition or the decision to switch the starting lineup for the next game against Dallas and Paige Beckers. That I could see her switching at least one person out of the starting lineup, if not 2 people out of the starting lineup, because honestly, they were holding us back. They were being a problem for us. Now, I would say that Laura is, consistently usually good. She had her worst game of the season last night. She had her worst game of the season last night. Really bad game. Julie, the stuff from Julie is normal. Julie gets only 3 points. That's kind of normal for Julie. But also at the same time, in some ways, you can make the case that Alamone is actually a backup point guard and is not a starting point guard. And then Conde, well, she was just a mess. The whole first quarter, she was just chaos personified. She immediately turned the ball over on the first possession that the Tempo had after the jump ball and was just failing left and right in different places. She's trying so hard. She's over trying in some ways. It's just a little bit too panicked, the energy, and it's not leading to successful actions. It's leading to turnovers. It's leading to confusion. It's leading to bad shots. It's leading to, just dumb fouls, things like that. So, I said this yesterday. I think Maria Conde should be the 6th woman off the bench, and she shouldn't be starting. And in some ways, what Trevor's comment saying is like, well, yeah, start Anissa Morrow, start Isabel Harrison, start Kiki Rice. Yeah. Yeah, any of them. I mean, Kiki should be starting. Kiki had a game last night. It's a starter's game, and she showed she's back. And that's good because since she came back from her injury, she hadn't had a game like this until last night. She's had very low scoring games and ineffective games and not good games for the most part. She's been solid in certain areas, but not offensively in shooting. But last night she got it back. So in some ways, is that the good faith right there? Sandy Brondello and Kiki Rice woke up and got 18 points last night, and she should be back in the starting lineup. Maybe we'll have to see, because if she's doing it on merit-based stuff, there's a couple people that need to be switched out of the starters and a couple people that need to be switched into the starters because of merit, because of production, because of their plus minus, because of how they're playing. I mean, Morrow, the last 2 games, has had a plus minus in bad losses for the Tempo. That's an indicator right there. That's an indicator. We're winning when Anissa Morrow is out on the court and she's able to battle people like Angel Reese on the boards and do some effective boxing out and some effective defense too and holding people back. That's an indicator. I'm telling you right there. That's right. Trevor's bringing up the NBA schedule here. NBA Christmas schedule come out this morning, and the Raptors didn't get a Christmas game. Well, surprise, surprise. I don't care about this. Do we get our annual Boxing Day game? I mean, seriously, I hate the whole importance of the Christmas Day games. I think it's so stupid. I've been on record for saying this. I'll repeat it now since it's been brought up again. I don't give up if we play on Christmas. I really don't. In fact, I'm glad our guys get Christmas off so they can spend the time with their families, and I can spend time with my family without worrying about doing preview and a big game day for Raptors game on Christmas Day. Yeah, I'd much rather sing a parody song on Christmas morning and just be on and off of my stream in 5 minutes because I sang a O Tannenbaum song about Larry Tannenbaum to the tune of Christmas, Oh Christmas Tree, or a song about Marquise Noel called The First Noel. I'd rather do a Christmas parody song about the Raptors than do a ref report, latest lineup news, and figuring out all that shit for a game day on a Christmas day. No, this is fine. Some people are going to get all upset about this. You can only put prestige in the Christmas games if you want to. The NBA tries to. They try to make them the crown jewel of their NBA schedule. The most important part, they are the seeds of the NBA schedule. They build the NBA schedule out from the Christmas Day games, and they want to make them the most important games of the season. Fuck that. I don't give a shit about the Christmas Day games. You poor souls that have to play on Christmas and be away from your families. I feel bad for you. So let's keep it in the family and let the Raptors go be at home with their families for Christmas. Let Scotty be with Millie, is what I'm saying. All right. And young Scott Jr. Let Scotty be with his kids on Christmas. Let him watch little Millie Barnes open the presents on Christmas morning, then have to worry about some stupid game against the Sixers or some shit like that. Like, seriously. Yeah, if they really were wanting to make Christmas Day really badass, they could have put us against the Clippers, and that would have been interesting. But they didn't. It's fine. We don't care. In some ways, I'm happy that we don't get Christmas. Seriously, I am, because it's annoying. It's annoying to play on Christmas. Christmas is for Christmas, not for NBA. Some people like to watch NBA all day on Christmas. You're losers. And I watch the NBA all the time. I watch all the Raptors games. And you're losers if you sit in a room and you watch 8 hours or 10 hours or 12 hours of NBA games while your family's in the other room enjoying themselves, playing board games and doing shit, and you're in there watching the Knicks or some bullshit. You're a loser. Go hang out with your family on Christmas. That's what I say. So yeah, if you're stuck in the NBA mode for Christmas, well, the NBA's fucking you over because they're stealing your holiday memories. That's what I say to that. Yeah, and they have the opening day schedule. That's an interesting thing that I like to look at. The opening day schedule, the first day of the season is going to feature the Knicks versus the Sixers, and also the Spurs versus the Thunder. And I believe there's another game I don't really care about. I think it's Boston and Detroit or something like that. But yeah, that's the opening day schedule, a triple header to begin the season. So they're trickling out parts of the schedule right now. They let us know the Christmas Day schedule and the opening day schedule. And the regular schedule, the whole schedule, which should be out in the next few days. And we should know more about it then. That's right. Trevor J saying this NBA opening week. Yeah, see, it's opening night. Is what forget about opening week. I'm talking about the first night of the schedule. It's Timberwolves and Heat. Okay, yeah, I don't care about this. None of this stuff matters. If the Raptors ain't involved, I don't give a shit. I really don't give a shit. That's right. He's saying they only gave the Heat and the Sixers those games because of LeBron and Giannis, Christmas games because they're on those teams. Once again, I choose not to participate in any kind of prestige building for Christmas Day games or any of that bullshit. Those are just another one of games. Those are just more games on the 82 schedule, just the same as any other fucking game, whatever game is wherever. The NBA can put the prestige on it. I refuse to do that personally. You guys want to put prestige on it? That's your own damn choice. But not me. It's just another day in the schedule, and they just decide they want to make it so important and shit. I mean, I don't care. Yeah, I don't care. Yeah, let's see. Fiercey's here. Good morning to Fiercey. Good morning, fam, and happy Tuesday. Great words of wisdom, Trevor J. A little confusing. And then she's saying, Lex, I missed part of the stream yesterday, but some of our second unit players should indeed start instead of the current lineup. Definitely Rice, Morrow, and Harrison. Yeah, so you agree with me. Yeah, I feel that way too. I mean, it's one thing to say you're ramping up Kiki after a long injury to get her rhythm, and that's why you're not starting her. Well, she got a rhythm last night. In fact, I saw things out of Kiki Rice that made me think, yeah, she's the right one. She's a badass. There was a section of the game where she had she kept going inside in the land of the Giants and battling in there and missing the first shot, but getting her own rebound and being relentless until she put it in. And I was like so impressed with that kind of energy. There was one possession like that, and then she ran down the other end and blocked the shot. And then she ran down the other end and hit a three. All 3 plays in a row. And I was like, yeah, Kiki's like that. She can start taking over or doing consecutive plays that are impactful on the game. Yeah, her work inside was amazing. And it was really nice to see her hit a three again. Really, really nice. She's a real competitor. And after the game, you get the maturity of young UCLA Kiki Rice. She sat up there and she said, "It's not about the winning or the losing right now. It's about the progress. It's about us getting better. It's about us building the culture. It's about us being a little bit better every single time and building something here. It's not necessarily about the win." She said it so eloquently and so well. Marina turned to her at the interview and said, "Thank you." Like she just said something that made Marina feel better about the loss, because Marina was a little bit in her emotions after the game, sitting there with Sandy and Kiki. You could tell she was like, she can't hide her facial expressions. And for somebody like me that reads the interviews very deeply, she is so easy to read with how she's feeling and thinking. And like she even just blatantly reacts to anything that somebody says. Like if the question is kind of fucked up, she will not hide her disdain for it. And if one of her teammates or her coach says something, she will react to it in the moment in an authentic way. You got to love Marina for that. But yeah, it was funny how Kiki kind of helped her feel a little bit off the hook with, the 9-game losing streak and the tough times that they're going through and stuff. Because Kiki's still all business and confidently saying it and saying it strongly and just saying, this is part of it. And in some ways, she don't want to have it any different. This is her first year in the WNBA. She's going to be a badass. She's going to be a great WNBA player for her career. And in some ways, to start at the very bottom, Drake, to build it up over the years, it's going to be so satisfying to her because she'll remember this first year and the trials and tribulations of losing so much. And then she'll build next year and she'll build next year and she'll have these mile markers and she'll look back and she'll be like, man, I remember that first year. Man, it was tough. And look at where we are now. And look at how much we built it up. Because Kiki Rice should be a part of this franchise for a long, long time. Don't ever leave us, Kiki, like Damon did. Don't leave like Damon, because you're the Damon for the tempo. And Stoudemire made a bad mistake when Isaiah left. So don't make the same mistake. This is your team. This is your franchise. And as you build and grow, it will with you. It will with you. Yeah, I'm with you guys. I mean, I think we're all in agreement with this. I think this is a common sentiment probably around Tempo Nation, is that we need to shake up the starting lineup a little bit. I mean, they're all could be starters. Let's just not get it twisted. Isabel Harrison can be a starter. Morrow could be a starter. Sabali is a starter. There's a lot of people that can be starters on this team. In some ways, some people have been starting a lot this year because people have been out. At the beginning of the year, we had a lot of bigs injuries. In fact, Benlay out, Sabali out, Harrison out. So we had to rely on Conde and Euskeda to play more minutes. And the other thing that's good about switching them to the bench at this point is that they're tired. Conde and Euskeda have played so many minutes this year and in some ways overplayed that they're exhausted. And in some ways, that's part of the problem right now, is that they've been run to the ground because they've been leaned on so much. So it would make sense, put them on the bench and cut their minutes down a little bit so maybe they can be more effective in smaller minute spots than playing starters minutes and playing a lot. I mean, that worked out that way for Laura anyway, because she wasn't playing well. She ended up playing more bench minutes by the end of the game, and the bench players took her minutes in the second half. There's nothing wrong with that. They've had very successful rookie years, the 28-year-old Euros. There's nothing to hold your head about. Euskeda, you're a bona fide WNBA player, and so are you, Conde. It's just that you guys got to work out some of the kinks, and maybe you shouldn't have been starting right away. That's kind of like throwing you into the fire right away, and you weren't totally ready. Because honestly, there has been a learning curve of learning the WNBA refs, the way that the league works, and the fouls and everything. So we've kind of gone through a lot of mishaps and dumb stuff happening, partly because of their orientation and them being such a focal point of our starters that we've had to see the brunt of it a lot. So it's just part of it, it's just part of it. All right. We've got a new sub. I appreciate the new subs. Chicago Cheetah. Welcome to the Tempo Freak Raptor Freak channel. Thank you for the sub. Toronto shot 21 free throws. What are we talking about? Well, it's really the balancing out in the second half where they got the free throws. It's in the first half, and this is exactly what Sandy said. If you go listen to her post-game interview, she said the imbalance of the free throws in the first half was like 17-3. And that's where the game was won in the second quarter. This is often a trick in the NBA and the WNBA. The referees will call it very unbalanced in the first half, and then they'll try and make up calls in the second half to fudge it to make it look better. They still got +9 in the free throw line, and that's because they really hurried up and gave a lot of free throws to us in the second half. But in some ways, we were already down by 20 and trying to come back by then. So it's all about timing, and it's all about when you give the deluge of the free throws. You give the Dream most of their free throws all in the first half, and then you give the tempos in the fourth quarter when they're trying to come back from being down 20 plus. No, does that make sense? And that's what Sandy pointed out. I'm just repeating what the coach of the tempo said. I'm not what are we talking about? No, I'm talking about what Sandy's talking about. That's exactly what she said. That's right. Chicago Cheetahs saying, yeah, same coach who made those comments on Angels. Okay, obviously we've got an Angel Reese fan here. Was never going to be the Dream, but for an example had to be made out of her. And I think may have been last night. I don't know if that's true. I don't think this had anything to do with Sandy's comments. I think that Sandy made a mistake. We all understand that. And she was woman enough to own up to it and give a proper apology. And this is all water in the bridge. If anybody's holding on to this, well, that's just sad because this is old news. And it didn't seem like any of this had anything to do with the game last night. Angel was able to play, and it was a very competitive game. And we had a good game, and there was no weirdness with her and Harrison. There was no weirdness between her and Sandy. I would think that Angel Reese took her apology, sincere apology, and that everything's fine at this point because there was no remnants of this. I mean, you're the only one bringing this up. I don't even think that the commentators brought it up at all on either broadcast, whether it was Peacock or TSN. So you can go ahead and bring this up if you want, Chicago Cheetah. That's up to you, but nobody else is talking about this. And it had nothing to do with that. This had to do with that we're an expansion team and we're still trying to figure things out. You guys are a playoff team and you're on the playoff stretch. We're just trying to get back to getting one of our star players back who's still out and trying to just salvage the rest of the season to build off of. There's totally different plans here and stuff like that. There's totally different plans here. Let's see. Cheetah's also saying this. The Dream shoots the second most free throws from the line this season, only traveling the youngest team in the league. Only traveling the youngest team in the league. I mean, that is part of y'all's persona. The two things I've heard is y'all are very good at rebounding and you're good at transition, getting baskets that way. And you guys get some free throws. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. But I can still have my opinions and say what I'm saying. And it doesn't mean that I'm wrong. Doesn't mean that I'm wrong. Either way, thank you for the subscription. But yeah, listen, if you don't like what I'm saying, you don't have to listen to me. How about that? Fiercely saying this, Seattle just won yesterday after 11 loss streak. I have faith in our team. Sandy just needs to reward the correct players, in my opinion. Yeah, it's weird because like I told y'all, we got into this bad stretch of the season and getting any wins with these tough teams. In the other things with the Raptors, I always think about like the schedule coming up and saying, well, this is a game you need to win because this is a game against a team that's not in the playoffs. And this is a game that you could win. So it's like you really got to focus and make those ones win. And there's been a few games in the last month that we have not done that where they were winnable games, whether it's a Portland Fire game, whether it's a Phoenix Mercury game at Scotiabank. There's been games that we dropped the ball where we could have got the wins, but now we're mired in a tough part of the schedule where we're playing playoff teams like the Aces, the Lynx, the Valkyries, the Dream. And it's just really hard to get the wins now. So if I'm really being serious and honest right now, Dallas is going to be tough on Wednesday. Fever will be tough back home. Mystics will be tough in Washington. And then when we play the Fire in Vancouver, that may be the next game that we really need to nail down and maybe win. But if we don't do that, this streak's going to be getting like 15 long almost. And then we'll see Seattle in Seattle on the 26th of August. And that is another very winnable game. So it's like the winnable games have not been coming very often. There's been a lot of games against very top teams that have been giving us lessons. And we've been getting, swept for series with Minnesota, Golden State, Atlanta, teams like that. So yeah, yeah. Let's see. Fiercey saying this. I get they want to put the stars on display, but why are the Nuggets and Wolves getting Christmas games? Because of Jokic and Ant-Man? Yeah, those guys are stars. Nikola is definitely one of the best players in the NBA. Darko says he thinks he's the best Serbian that ever played and possibly one of the greatest athletes ever in the history of sports, is what Darko said in his recent Serbian interview. He has very high praise for him. And it's obvious Anthony Edwards is a star coming up, and that the NBA wants to promote and put him out more for sure. Minnesota did very well in the playoffs this past year too. So you need to kind of give them credit because they are a team that's been on the rise and getting a little bit more notoriety and respect as far as being a contender. So this makes total sense that they put them on Christmas. That's right. Trevor J saying this: when Kiki performs like that, no one can stop her. She's amazing. She's amazing. The video of Case and Wallace talking to Tracy McGrady and Vince Carter on the Cousins podcast, talking about playing one-on-one with Kiki Rice was so cute. He said that one day Kiki came up to him and he was saying some trash and she didn't like it. And she said, well, you should play me in one-on-one then, and you'll find out. And he found out. Kiki took it to her. Kiki took it to him. And like Tracy and Vince were wondering, did she actually score on you? Did you play your regular defense that you play in the NBA on her? And he said, yep, all that. But she's nice, man. She got hers and she did well. And it was, some of these games were close. You mean you played a game point once? You guys were at game point? Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, this is great PR for the WNBA in some ways because there's so much misogynist bullshit out there right now with Enes Kanter and other people and this whole issue. There's a lot of dumb people saying stuff about women competing with men and how women can't even compete with a high school team from the WNBA team. Some bullshit like that's going on. Meanwhile, Cason Wallace, a champion of the Thunder, is saying that his girlfriend that plays for the Tempo can play him pretty good in one-on-one, just the two of them. I mean, that's good PR right there. That's good PR right there. Mr. Greg's in the house. Good morning, Mr. Greg. Good morning, everybody. Good morning to you, sir. Fiercely saying 3 starters equals 5 points. Unacceptable. There's different reasons for why this happened. And I think fatigue is part of it. I really do feel like the miles that Conde and Yescada have been a lot. Like they've really played a lot. You've got to also understand these are women that have played European schedules, which sometimes they only play once a week. Like seriously, the EuroLeague is so lax in some ways. They practice for 5 days and then they play 1 day on Saturday. And they're not used to playing 3 or 4 games a week and the hecticness of this season. So it could very well be they have fatigue from the longness of the season and just how frequent the games are because their bodies are not used to that frequent of output and going after it and doing what you have to do to play in the WNBA. So I could speculate that this game's partly because of that they're just fatigued. And in some ways, Sandy and the coaching staff need to be aware of this and, make the right sub ins and sub outs to keep the fresh people in because Kiki's real fresh. Kiki's real fresh right now. And Moro's excited and, exuberant about the freshness of her being on a new team. So, there's some things here. There's some things here that are probably adding to the things that happen. Kaloy saying this. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to you, Carlo JS. Good morning to you and your family. Your wife is an amazing person. I'm going to say that again. Seymour saying this. Top of the day, Raptor Freaks and Freakettes. Good morning to you, Sheriff. Hope everything is nice in the province of Alberta for you, sir, and that you're going to get shots up today on this summer August day, and that you'll have a fantastic day at the warehouse. That's right. Our Sheriff Seymour Pape holding it down out in the west of Canada and the great frontier. That's right. Fiercely saying this. I shared a clip on Discord of Cason Wallace saying Kiki almost beat him on one-on-one. Yeah, I was just talking about it. I did see it. See how fierce she is and competitive. I know Bam and Aja also work out together. Iron sharpens iron. Well, they're in the same trade. There's a lot of applicable things that Cason Wallace and Kiki Rice can talk about with each other's teams and coaches that could actually really help each other. Seriously. Things that Kiki are learning from Sandy Brondello. You'd be shocked. Maybe she tells it to Kaysen and it helps a little wrinkle for him somehow. Because that's Sandy Brondello. That's a two-time coach, champion, and a long time WNBA, like just a fountain of information and just knowledge of basketball. And basketball doesn't really see gender if you really think about the basics of it. It really doesn't. It doesn't see gender. Fiercey saying when Fiercey Jr. trains with boys, it's a different feel. She's like the Incredible Hulk. Really? So she trains with boys? Seriously? That's pretty impressive. All right, we got Infamous calling in. We got our Infamous 6 for today. Let's see what Infamous has to say about the game last night. Good morning, Infamous.
Good morning, brother.
Oh, my gosh.
This is not Infamous. Eat your vitamins and say your prayers, brother.
Oh, my gosh. You know whose birthday it is, obviously.
Oh, jeez.
You know it's his birthday, right?
You know what? I honestly, I didn't know.
You did not know that today is Terry Bollea's birthday, who passed away last year.
I choose not to remember. I remember the childhood, the childhood version.
Yeah.
But the adult version, as I got older,
yeah. You like Hulk Hogan, but you don't like Terry Bollea.
Yes.
Yeah. Did you had no idea it's his birthday today? You had no idea. You just did that impression?
I just did the impression, brother.
Wow. And you had no idea it was his birthday.
I had no idea.
Crazy. Do you have a trivia for me?
Pretend I did.
Is that my trivia? It's Hulk Hogan.
No. Today's not. I got a different trivia.
Oh, okay. All right. Let's hear it real quick. And then I'm really anxious to hear what you have to say about the tempo game last night.
Sure. This might be a little bit harder. I don't know if you're gonna get all of these.
All right.
But can you name, in order, the 5 top WWE produced movies in order of gross?
Movies?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean like all these ones they've been making
produced?
Since...
Yeah. The produced.
I don't. Once again, most of this stuff has happened since 2005, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to be able to do it. I've not paid attention to Triple H's movie or Kane's movie or John Cena's movies. I know that those are the people that have been in them.
I'll give you a little clue. I think this will help you. Most of them are rock related.
Yeah, I'm still not going to get it. I'm still not going to get it.
I'll give you the list.
You know what? I can name the first one they ever did, though.
Go ahead.
It's what was the stupid name of it? It was the one with Hulk Hogan with Dookie, and his name was Rip and Zeus. No holds barred. No holds barred. That's the first. That's the first ever movie that Vince McMahon put money into and produced. Was No Holds Barred.
That was so horrible.
I like that movie actually. Joan Severance. Yeah, I like that movie actually. And that whole part where Hulk Hogan's holding the limo driver up and he craps his pants, and the limo driver says Dookie, and Hulk smells and he goes, Dookie.
I can't go with you on this one. That movie is horrible.
All right, I failed. I'm once again. I'm gonna say Infamous. If it's after 2005, I'm not gonna be able to do it. Just so you know.
No problem. Yeah. Let me give you the rundown. So I'll start with number 5. Number 5 is a movie called Oculus.
Okay, yeah. In some ways, I'm not interested in this. You could just name them real fast.
Yeah. Number 4 is Walking Tall.
I know Walking Tall, and I know that one. Yeah. I didn't realize they did that movie.
Yeah, they did. I never realized. Yeah, The Caller with Halle Berry.
Which wrestler was in that movie?
No, it was produced. Just produced.
But they didn't have any wrestler starring in it.
No.
Okay, yeah, I would have not gotten anywhere near any of these.
Number 2 is The Rundown with The Rock.
It's similar to Walking Tall. It's like the next.
Similar to Walking, yeah.
Yeah.
Rundown is probably my favorite. I think Rundown is probably the best one. And number 1, The Scorpion King.
Well, I mentioned that earlier.
That's why I did it.
That's why you did it. Yeah.
That's why I mentioned it. Yeah.
Well, I don't think of the Scorpion King of being like any kind of WWE production because it's like in the Mummy franchise, but they probably did put some money into it and get a credit.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah, it was produced by the WWE studios.
Yeah.
I never knew that.
I do know this, that The Rock says a lot about Brendan Fraser that's very kind. and how he helped him in his early career to really understand the business, and that Brandon Fraser working with him was huge in his acting career. I do know that.
In my personal opinion, The Rundown, one of the best.
No holds barred here, buddy. That's right. And forget about no holds barred. Let's go over the top, baby, with Sylvester Stallone and Terry Funk.
Oh gosh,
that movie was fun, man. That over the top movie. I don't know. I was a little kid. I saw it. His arm wrestling movie. I thought it was cool. There was a guy drinking oil cans. You know, it was an interesting movie. Anyway, let's get to the tempo.
Let's get to. I know a lot of people are not mentioning it, but this week is from the 8th to the 16th is rival week in the WNBA. You all know it's rival week, right?
No,
it's rival. Yeah, it's rival week.
I don't know anything about that. I haven't seen any advertisements for it.
That's why. Thank you. That's why I keep saying, why are they not advertising this from the 8th to the 16th, and the WNBA is considered rival week.
So our rivals are the Dream and the Dallas Wings. That doesn't seem right.
I don't know. I know.
I don't think they have an official rivalry game for us.
I don't think so either. I think they're trying to manufacture, because if you listen to the broadcast, it looked like they were trying to manufacture a rivalry, and that never works when you artificially try to manufacture.
You get rivalries from playoff competition and bitterness and people beating each other or having to face each other over and over again. You could ask the CBL about how to build rivalries. They've built some major rivalries in the Canadian Elite Basketball League. But yeah, I wonder about like the most natural rivalries for the Toronto Tempo to me are the Portland Fire and the Golden State Valkyries. I think that those are the most natural rivalries for us. Also the Liberty, partly because of Sandy and Toronto versus New York kind of stuff. But I think Portland, just because we came in together, is going to be a natural one. The Bridget thing that happened. And there was a lot of weirdness between the Valkyries and the Tempo in some ways in their series with them.
Yeah, so that can definitely be a rivalry.
Yeah, so we'll just have to see. But yeah, I did not know this at all. So maybe the WNBA is dropping the ball on promoting this aspect. I know the NBA's been trying to do rivalry weeks themselves sometimes too.
Right.
Yeah.
There's one thing I agree with. Lex, you said something that was complete. I agree with everything you said about the refereeing. I don't know what everybody's this is why you got to watch the games. Everything you said about the refereeing, I back you 110%, because the first half, just as you described it, was completely on point. Yeah. We were getting shafted in a lot of calls, and then they try to do the makeup stuff like they do in the second half. So I completely agree with you on that. The next thing I want to say that I'm actually encouraged by this game.
Yeah, I am too.
I'm super encouraged. You know why, Lex? There's a lineup that Sandy put out there that I was like, oh, okay.
It was working, eh?
Yes, this one can work.
Yeah.
Can I go through the lineup quickly?
Sure. What's the five that you look at and you see it?
Yeah, I saw it, and it immediately clicked to me. The Eminem,
okay, Mabrey,
Morrow, Rice, Saab, and
Julie. Yeah, that's the same lineup I was thinking too.
You're thinking the same?
Yeah, it's pretty much the exact same lineup I was thinking too. And this was around the fourth quarter, right?
Yes, and it's not necessarily on the offensive end.
Yeah,
it's more on the defensive end.
Yes,
like the stoppages we were getting with that lineup. I was like, oh, wait a minute. I think we might have run into something here.
Yeah, Harrison has been not as good offensively, although she was pretty good last night.
Yeah, she was okay last night.
But she's been playing very well defensively. And then there was that one part with Niara where she had a double block, successfully stopping them. And then she caused a jump ball. And I was like, wow, she blocked them twice. And then she tied them up. And she was relentless in stopping them from trying to score. Part of the problem with what was happening last night was we do really good on defense, but we would not secure the ball. And they get a second and third chance shots.
Yes.
And the ball would be out in the middle of the court and nobody's chasing it down. And the Dream would find it. And then they would hit a three after a really good defensive stand where we actually stopped them. And that's normal. This is kind of stuff that the Raptors have been working through the last 2 years in their rebuild. And then, the Tempo are having this problem. So it's like the defensive rebound to stop the possession for the other team is so essential because you guys play such good defense, and then it gets screwed up because you lapse after a good defensive stance because they get the ball back on a second chance, and then they're making it. That was a really bad thing for them, at least in trying to get back and win the game at the end. When it was close, they couldn't get that complete stop. There was a second or third chance or even a fourth chance sometimes for the Dream.
Right. Listen, Temple fans, do not worry. We're gonna be a really good team in the future because we all know where the turning point of the season was. The turning point, in my opinion, was when Brittany went down.
Sykes, yeah.
When Brittany, yeah, it really sucks because I'm not saying that we would have made it to the playoffs, but we would at least been a better competing level team. Might have had a chance to sneak in there, but that's okay. Because guess what? If we can only go up from here, and I don't know, when I was mentioning in the chat the other day, I was saying that we have a chance of securing a top 3 pick.
Yeah,
not that I'm saying
that'll
tanking.
help a lot.
I don't encourage tanking at all. Yeah.
But Brittany has definitely been the turning point. I agree with you. And, Sandy talked about it last night after the game. Like, it's, 2 ways for Brittany. She's like a 20-point scorer, and she's also like an all defensive kind of player that we really miss for some of the stuff having to do with guards and covering the perimeter with 3-point shooters and stuff. And that's been kind of underrated, just how much her void of missing games has hurt us for our perimeter defense. And I agree. I mean, the thing I would say is, like, look, there's no guarantees or promises for new teams to get better over time, but we have to realize we're Toronto. And in some ways, just like the Raptors, we're quality with our organization. We have Teresa Resch, who worked with Masai Ujiri for many, many years and understands how the Raptors had their success. And she's going to try and steal and mimic some of those key things that led to success for the Raptors in the tempo. So that, it's going to be incremental. It's going to be over time. It's going to be with acquisitions through the draft and free agency and trades. And the improving of the team over time should be shown. But, like, this is the baseline. This is the very beginning. And not only that, this is a year marred with serious injuries too. So
right.
Yeah.
I love Rice, Lex. I love the way she kind of reminds me a little bit of RJ Barrett, the way she navigates in the mid range.
She is kind of crazy up near the basket with her strength.
Yeah,
like RJ.
Yeah. She has that kind of RJ thing where he kind of
she just bullies in there.
Probes the mid range. And I just love her. She needs to definitely work on her handles. I think that's something.
I don't know. I mean, that she has really insane handles. I mean, that's what Kaysen was saying in that interview, was saying that, like, look, he's playing the way he plays defense on NBA players, and he has a hard time swiping her because of her dribble.
Yeah, her handles she keeps low to the ground and she keeps it tight.
Yeah.
But there's just the way that you see sometimes when they pressure her.
Well, this is actually hang on. Let me interrupt for just a second. This is actually something that I noticed, because I just remembered I wanted to say this. If you look at the other games against Atlanta this year, they picked our pockets. They stole the ball a lot in transition. They were jumping in the passing lanes, and you were seeing Canada and Gray going the other way, getting easy layups. A lot of that was cut out last night. In some ways, that is showing improvement, because they just went to town stealing the ball from us. And Sandy and the Tempo had a much better game plan for protecting the ball from turnovers in transition against one of the best transition defenses in the WNBA. Because Canada is no joke with the way she steals the ball, and they are so crafty. And if you watched how they were dealing with the ball in transition, they were very smart. Sometimes we're very aggressive to push the ball up the court, but the scout's out on that, and people are jumping in our passing lanes and getting transition going the other way. But you saw the Tempo a little bit more modest and not as aggressive with pushing it up there, because they knew it was more dangerous with the Dream lurking around. And you saw a bit more of, like, the big giving good screens coming up to peel off some of those really, really tough defenders for the ball handler to get by. And they were much more successful. And it showed in the turnover amount for them last night too. They had a good amount of turnovers. They didn't have the regular, a lot of them. I think they only had like 7 turnovers last night. And in some ways, that's an accomplishment from the games earlier this season, where they were just picking us off and getting close to 20 turnovers on us. I don't think we had over 10 turnovers last night.
Right.
So
There's something that they need to look at and explore further. I don't know if you picked up on this, but Eminem carrying the ball up is a great option
yeah,
that they should really look to explore. Her handles are pretty tight,
yeah,
and just the way she can navigate off the screens and get her own shots.
yeah.
So it's also like a double whammy as well. So I know she can't do it all the time because it's going to be
It's
taxing.
tiring.
And
And
then
she was
it's
sweating
tiring.
like crazy last night. We really used Mabrey a lot. Like you could tell her jersey was a different color of purple because it was a little bit more darker with the sweat last night. And you know,
I like when she makes it.
You're exactly right. In some ways, it was reminiscent of the Raptors this playoff season deciding to give the ball to Brandon to just bring the ball up the court because we were having so much trouble getting the ball to Ingram.
Right.
And at a certain point, we just said, let Brandon bring the ball up the court himself, and we don't have to try and get the entry pass to him, and he can try and create his own offense. It's a similar thing. Right. It's like people cover up Mabrey so much, it's hard for us to get the ball to her. And so why not just give it to her when she brings it up? And you don't have to do that.
Lex, though? The difference is that Mabrey is a great decision maker, and she's underrated as a passer.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. I'm very comfortable with her bringing the ball up the court sometimes. It just gives us a different look. I love it.
Yeah, and I liked how she mixed her offense up. Like she was obviously bombing at the beginning, making the threes right away, but she did start to go inside at a certain point, and she was extremely effective with those little flip layups over people driving to the basket too. You know, she diversified her offense, but I was really hoping at that pace she was going to try and go for 10. I really wanted her to match Kayla the very next night because at some ways, like when she came out and got the first three, I was like, oh, is it going to be one of those nights?
Yeah, is it going to be one of those nights?
This is going to be one of those nights. Let's go, Marina.
I was thinking this, Alex, we were on the same mindset.
Yeah, I think Tempo fans in general were thinking that. I mean, I seen a guy in the crowd at Atlanta at the end line wearing a Tempo shirt, and when she hit the first shot, his face went like, like that. I was like, yeah, there's a Tempo fan there like that. Yeah.
She's going to get it. You know what? She's going to get it eventually. I think she will.
So, any last points real quick, Infamous, before I let you go today?
Last 2 points. I just have two last questions.
Sure.
Here, and I'll be out of here. The Tempo recently did a little shorts where they do the barbell challenge.
Yeah, you saw that.
I saw that. That one of my favorites. One of my favorite clips. But can I ask you a question?
Okay.
Do you think that you can pass the barbell challenge?
Me? No. And I've always been a lean guy. Like I've always been a lean guy.
Pause, by the way. Yeah, go ahead.
And you know, I've never been an overweight person ever in my life. Like, in fact, I was always a really skinny dude. Like, and I don't have a butt, so it's like, no, I don't think I would. Although I don't know because I am a large guy as far as my height, but I don't know. I don't know if I don't know. I'm not willing to try it.
No, you know, I'm just playing around with you.
Yeah. No, I you know, if you ask me a question, I'm gonna answer it seriously.
Here's my final question, Lex.
Yeah.
Monte Ellis, and this is another reason why you don't give everybody a mic. Monte Ellis came out recently and said that if he was in the place of Steph, he believed that he could get 4 rings with the Warriors if they had the same team. Same coach and
the history there.
I
mean, all right. Monte Ellis.
Silly.
Monte Ellis was there when Steph showed up, and he pushed Monte out of that team. So in some ways, he has an axe to grind with Steph Curry. In some ways, it's like Steph Curry showed up as a rookie in Golden State. Monte was the man still, and there was a weird changing of the guard where Monte was basically shoved out of there because Steph was better. He was more efficient. And in some ways, that's coming from a place of hurt. That's coming from like, well, obviously he came and took my spot and he went and did all this after me. I could have easily done that afterward. That's where that's coming from. It's not realistic or right.
It's not realistic at all because people got to understand what makes Steph is a great leader. Monte Ellis was. I like Monte Ellis, but let's be honest, he was a shot jock.
I mean, there's a difference between what Steph Curry does and what Monte Ellis used to do. Right. Monte Ellis is more like John Starks. He's a very true streak shooter. But just to think that just because that spot ended up doing that, no, that's the specialness of Stephon Curry,
Mhm.
Stephon Wardell Curry,
Wardell.
who
Yeah.
was a transformative player for the whole entire league and the sport of basketball. And Monte Ellis
Mhm.
is crazy if he thinks that he would have had that same impact, because honestly, he was playing the league already for a long time and he didn't have that impact already.
Thank you, sir. You're
Yeah.
always a voice of reason, and that's all I gotta say, Lex.
All right.
I just want to say to you, brother, make sure you go out there and touch grass, brother.
Listen, Hogan, you keep your eyes away from Elizabeth. Oh yeah. Your deceitful eyes. I see your wanting eyes on my woman.
Okay.
All right, Infamous. Have a great day. Thank you for the
Everybody,
call.
no problem. Everybody encouraged by the tempo. The tempo will be fine, man. Don't sweat
It's
it.
just
We'll
the
be good.
process, and enjoy the journey, enjoy the time, enjoy the ride, and remember how it is now for when we're successful later. That's right.
Great.
All right, Infamous.
Peace, brother.
All right, brother.
Let's go tempo.
All right. Enough Hogan, man. That might have been too much Hogan for me. Too much Hogan right there. All right, let's see. Where am I in the chat? Let's see. I'm with Trevor J here, just below Fiercey's comment. That's where I'm at here. He's saying, I just watched a 7.4 earthquake disaster in Colombia. You can see the buildings crumbling down with people still inside. That's awful. That is awful. Well, I hope God protects people and saves them in some ways. That's horrible, man. I would never want to watch that, man. I never want to watch. I don't like seeing people suffering or dealing with violence or any kind of things where tragedy happens. And that sounds awful, Trevor. I wouldn't watch that, man. I wouldn't watch that. Bless everybody who's being affected by that earthquake or any natural disasters or war or genocide around the world right now. And when I do prayers for health for the athletes on sports teams, I always include people out there in the world to give prayers for, being safe in war situations and violent situations and natural disasters. Natural disasters may come more common because we're not respecting our climate. And well, this is kind of what's happening. Either way, I'm not totally happy you brought that up because I don't want to think about this on the stream. This has nothing to do with the subject matter of the channel. KT saying this. Kareem Thomas is saying this. This Pablo stuff is old news, apparently. He's not breaking any news. He's periodically making YouTube clips in the dead moments of the sports world to garner views and likes. NBA investigators been known of this. Yeah, I've been saying this for the last 2 weeks since the Rhode Island stream that he did and the Daktronics one this week, that in some ways he's just trying to ride this gravy train as long as he can as far as getting this attention. That's why I think he needs to move on and find a new subject to break. And then he'll have like a little bit more attention, especially if you go break something about another player in another team or another sport. Pablo Torre, find out. It doesn't just is the show called Pablo Torre Finds Out About Kawhi Leonard, because that's what this show seems like for your whole run where you've been popular. It should be Pablo Torre Finds Out about a lot of different scandals. So get your investigative ass after some other people for a little while. How about that? Because look, this Kawhi gravy train that you've been riding with your content is going to run out. It's going to run out as soon as they come out with the punishment and everything's over. It'll be over then. That's right. That's right. Fiercey saying this. Yeah, Infamous is right. It is not publicized. You see it on the WNBA app when watching the schedule. It shows Rivals Week. Well, either way, I mean, we haven't really been in the league long enough to have a true rival in any kind of way yet. I mean, Portland is kind of feeling like it, but in some ways, I haven't seen the advertising. I haven't seen the Tempo talk about it in their advertising at all. That's really the advertising I'm getting. I'm not following all the general WNBA stuff for the most part. I see Tempo stuff, whatever Teresa and the communications people of the Tempo franchise are putting out. And they didn't put anything out about no rivalries or nothing. That's right. They probably put Atlanta as rivals because of the Harrison ejection, but that's not a strong enough argument. Yeah, if that was our rivalry game last night, there was nothing on the Peacock broadcast about it like that, and nothing on TSN with Daniela Ponicello and her goofiness and her bad calls. saying anything about rivalry week either. There's nothing there at all. Yeah. Shaq Lindsay saying this Kawhi wanting to come to Toronto is strategic, but not only for reputation, but financial. To capture or rebuild a fractured relationship in a market like Canada is genius, especially when the American media is such a turncoat. No, it's smart. I mean, in some ways, I guess he just delayed taking his throne as king of the North, but it's not a done deal. That's the thing. In some ways, he has to ingratiate himself still, too. If he thinks he can come up here and just make a bunch of money off us and sit on the bench in street clothes and Ben Simmons our asses, it's not going to work. Don't Otto Porter us. Don't Akeem Olajuwon us, Kawhi Leonard. You better come and play and be healthy and play at the highest level and get us success again. If you really want that moniker King of the North back and you want the financial opportunities and the ability to be that like that here in Canada, there's still work to be done. Returning is not enough. You've got to be healthy and you have to be successful also. That's part of it right there. That is part of it right there. Let's do the Toronto Raptors Redditor of the day. It is the Living L, and they are for Scotty Barnes, GOAT. Basically, this is a Kawhi post, and it's a shit post. And Kawhi Leonard is somewhere wearing a green hat, and he's saying to his haters, well, not to his haters, he's just saying in general, he's going to be in Wuhan on August the 25th. Of course, there's a publicized Kawhi Leonard Asia tour going on in the next couple of weeks. And well, Kawhi is not bothered by the investigation, aspiration, Adam Silver, Steve Ballmer, or any of this. He is going off to do his committed Asia tour that he was going to do this month anyway. And so here it is. There's a clip of him saying, hey, Wuhan, I'm going to be there in August the 20-something. It's coming up in the next week or so. So, yeah, there's your Raptors Redditor of the day, the Living L, posting Kawhi unbothered and not scared about what's coming up. And he's just going about his regular business. And, well, he's going over to Asia to make appearances there. You know, at least he's making appearances and he's actually working for that money. That's what I say to that. That's what I say to that right there. Yeah, let's see. Kaloy saying this. When the Kawhi trade gets approved by Bobby, I think we will be some sort of pariah in the league for a while. We're going to have morality police going after Kawhi like Stephen A. Smith. So don't expect hype from actual NBA to our team this season, like Christmas games, etc. Once again, this is business as usual for the Toronto Raptors. We've always been slighted and overlooked and misjudged. And that's actually in some ways a strength. You know, they can always misjudge us and underestimate us, and we always do better, and they shut the fuck up about it after that. So none of this is different, and in some ways, who cares? Just as long as we play a high level, and like Darko says, we take care of the things that we can take care of, which is how we play and what we think about ourselves and how we do it. And that's been a big key to success. Is it's a very closed-in bubble of the staff, the team, and the coaches, and everybody in the Raptors organization. And, you know, we're in there with them because we're good fans and we stand by them and support them. So Darko would include the Raptor Freak family in there, but he's not including all the fans. He's not including everybody else, the haters and the toxic people. And, well, we listen to our bubble. We don't listen to the outside noise. And in some ways, you know, I'm inside noise because I'm noise for them. And they know that because they've watched me and they appreciate me for being a voice that stands for them and says that some of the truths that nobody else is saying in other places. That's right. So we're in there with them. That's right. We're in there with them. That's right. Let's see. Shaq Lindsay saying just because Kawhi is choosing Canada, you know, it's whatever. You know, there's a lot of BS right now. Some of it is from the top, from the child rapist in charge. You know, they set the tone for you know, different things. You know, I shouldn't tell you guys about this, but maybe I will right now at this point. You know, there's a lot of weird rhetoric towards Canada and the United States right now because Donald Trump has been making overtures about the 51st state and all this other bullshit and wanting to take Canada over. And in some ways, he's teaching more disrespect for our country and normalizing it. You know, that it's always been in broadcasts in weird, messed up ways, you know, putting down Canada in just weird, dumb ways and stuff. I mean, I know firsthand. I grew up in Florida as a very outward, proud Canadian. I grew up in my formative years through elementary school, all the way up through university at Florida State. And I was that Canadian dude. And I heard all the bullshit that Americans say and think, and their whole I think we're better than everybody else in the world. And yeah, we look down on you. You're a joke and all this kind of shit. Something really sad happened last week. I was trying to help my friend the Ant-Man in New Hampshire try to get back to Florida, and he's living on the streets. He's a hopeless alcoholic. He can't put down the bottle. If I sent him money, he was going to kill himself because he couldn't stop. It's like his friend warned me. He said, if you send this money to Anton, he's going to drink himself to death. He has a serious alcohol problem he's not being honest with you about. And if you send him this money, he's going to kill himself. He's going to drink himself to death. So it's a death sentence. And I was like, I thank you for telling me that. And in some ways, he needs to go get help. And if he goes to detox and he gets through it, and I'll give him the money then to help him get to Florida. Well, while talking to these guys, they made it known that they voted for Trump. And I'm like, what? You guys voted for Trump? You're homeless. You don't have a place to live. No, he's the best. America, all this shit. They're brainwashed. And in fact, I heard my good friend of 30 years, 40 years, I've known him since I was a teenager, that I'm trying to help out, literally say he thinks Canada should be a part of the United States. I said, fuck you guys. You can fucking die in the street. I'm not helping you no more. You voted for Trump and you are going against my country. I'm Canadian, you dumbasses. And you just told me you think that Canada should be absolved into the United States. Fuck you guys. You can rot in the gutter. And I turned my back on a friend of 40 years over this shit. See, that's how bad it is. They have people that are in the streets that are homeless. And he's a black guy and he's supporting Trump. He's that stupid. That's how much of a fucked up propaganda machine's going on down there. That people that have not been helped by Trump. In fact, I could make a direct connection that him and his partner who died last year, I'll tell the whole story. They had a house and they got foreclosed on and they got kicked out in the streets. And last winter, him and his partner of 10 years, this woman who was a Trumper too, apparently, died of exposure to the blizzard and the cold. And he's been sad and miserable ever since she died. But he doesn't put two and two together that it's probably connected to his fucking bullshit and the rising costs that his partner died. So you know what? You can't get through to people like that. If he's, first of all, if he's a fallen down drunk and he can't stop drinking, and second of all, he's at this point in 2026 still standing up for Trump and this bullshit in his personal situation. No, he's irredeemable. I can't help him. So I said, fuck you guys. Fuck you and your bullshit for voting for Trump. You can rot in hell, is what I said to him. So I'm not helping my friend Anton anymore, and I've cut him off. I never want to speak to him again. He's disappointed me. In some ways, his friendship does not supersede my patriotism and my service and standing on guard for the true North, strong and free. Yeah, it's a sad case, seriously. But that's just, in some ways that informs you some of the bullshit and how propagandized the Americans are becoming and some of the shit that Trump is trying to get across and how they're disrespecting Canada. And that's why we need to continue to buy our own goods and continue to strengthen our economy. And we need to continue to seek other connections with other allies and divert, money and contracts towards other places like Saab for our military and things like that too. Because yeah, in some ways the disrespect has been normalized in the United States, and there's a lot of dumbass people down there. There's a lot of dumbass people down there that are falling for it and really are not being respectful to Canada. It was always there, but it's intensified at this point with the leadership of the child pedophile rapist in charge. Yeah. Let me keep going in the chat here. Shaq Lindsay's saying, just because Kawhi's choosing Canada. That's right. Chloe's saying, I can see U.S. media like ESPN go after Kawhi, attack instead of bomber. Already saw it with Stephen A. Smith. Once again, he's a Raptor hater. He has not voted for any Raptors in his postseason ballots for years, including this past year. He could not vote for Scotty Barnes for all NBA. He could not vote for Colin Murray-Boyles for all rookie team because he's a hater. He's a Knicks fan. And he absolutely is not somebody anybody should listen to about anything Raptors. Seriously, he's compromised on that. Yeah, Fiercely saying this, laugh out loud. Infamous asking Lex about the butt barbell thing. Yeah, that is kind of goofy. I tried to answer it not normally. I'm a very slim person like Slim. And but maybe I'm big enough that it would catch. I don't know. Either way, I don't care. It's a silly question. Kaz is here. Good morning to Trucker Kaz. Good morning, everyone. I think it's pretty clear Conde and Yescada are not starters. Starting lineup should be Julie, Kiki, Marina, Izzy, and Sabali until Slim comes back. That sounds about right. That sounds about right. I don't mind. Yeah. And then Julie probably goes to the bench when Slim comes back. And that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. No, Kiki should stay in the starting lineup, especially if she's going to have the production she did last night. You know what? Let's do the stars of the game real quick. Let's do the stars of the game real quick. I know I'm ruthless for doing that with my friend in New Hampshire, but I had to, man, because it was so disheartening to hear him say that shit about Canada. I'm like, bro, why should I help you now? If you're literally supporting somebody that is absolutely reprehensible and you're bragging that you voted for him, you fucking morons. You know, it's so stupid. All right, my number one star is Marina Mabrey. Obviously, she had an amazing game last night. 33 minutes, 36 points on 12 and 19 shooting, 7 to 13 from three. Oh, man, if she had gotten more threes in the second quarter, maybe she would have gotten to 10 because she only needed three more. 5 for 5 at the free throw line. She had 3 assists, 1 turnover, and she was a -5. Just as one of those gem performances for her. She hadn't had one like that in a while. I think that the rest was really good for them this weekend, 3 days off, and it was helpful for her neck. So you go on, Marina Mabrey. You are an entertaining show, and I think that people enjoyed watching the shootout between you and Howard last night because Howard, she was matching you pretty good on the other side. I mean, she was 6 for 11. You got one more three than her, but she was 6 for 11 on her side of things too. And hers mattered when she hit hers, they were really the game winners for the Dream. My second star of the game last night for the Toronto Tempo is Kiki Rice. Kiki finally returned to form. She's been back for a couple weeks, but really not had the excellent kind of level that she had when she got hurt. And she did it again last night, finally. 30 minutes for Rice on 18 points of a 7-11 shooting, 1 of 2 from three. I love seeing her hit a three. That's a good sign right there. Also, 3 of 5 at the free throw line, 5 rebounds, 6 assists with 0 turnovers, a steal and a block, and she was a +2. So yeah, we're winning minutes when she's out there, and she got the lion's share of the minutes in the second half. And I love the 6-0 assist to turnover ratio. So there's a lot she's offering: toughness, 3-point shooting, assists, and even some good defense with a block and a steal. My third star of the game for the Tempo is Anissa Morrow. Anissa Morrow came off the bench, 16 minutes, 11 points on 4 of 8 shooting. She was 50%. She missed both the three she took. The angle looked weird. Like she was shooting from the elbow, and you could see it from the camera angle that her shot was off from three. It was a little off to the side and didn't look right. She was 3 for 5 from the free throw line. We could clean up at the free throw line. There was some missed free throws last night. It seems like our free throw shooting was such a strength the first part of the season because Sykes was shooting like 95% of the free throw line, and it was infectious. And everybody was shooting and holding a very high standard for free throws. So the Tempo as a team was shooting like 90%. We need to get back to that. And it shouldn't be that way only because of Brittany it being in the lineup. The Tempo need to be a good free throw shooting team overall. And I know with the losing, it's hard to keep concentration and keep that standard of excellence. But y'all should work on that still through the adversity of losing and the ups and downs of it. It's a real mental process to continue to shoot like 85 plus from the free throw line. So it's a little tough to do. Morrow had only 1 rebound, which is surprising. 1 assist, 0 turnovers, 1 steal, and 1 block. She was a +5. She was the highest plus minus on our team. And in the last 2 games against Dream and Fire, she's had a plus minus. So we're winning minutes when Anissa Morrow's out there. Yeah, I just love her strength. I love her IQ also. She's very smart about positioning and the ability to use her strength in the right positions. I mean, it's crazy watching her battle Angel, who she gives a lot of height to. She can kind of hold her. And the other thing was on defense. She was guarding people that are way bigger than her and being very effective at not allowing them easy things. So, man, Morrow has been a huge, huge get for the tempo. And Monica Wright Rogers, this is definitely a W for you. Definitely is Morrow. Yeah, I'm gonna do 5 stars because I felt like the progress and the promise of the game last night deserved it. Isabel Harrison is my 4th star of the game. 18 minutes, 13 points on 5 of 7 shooting. So a little bit more point production, a little bit more aggressive to score. I love the actions with her and Marina last night. There was a lot of Marina feeding Isabel sliding to the basket, and Isabel making some very good shots around people like Reese and Hillman and Jones. And Isabel's offense woke up. She's had a tough time scoring in recent games coming back from an injury, but she looked way better last night. It's just we want to expand the quantity a little bit more. There wasn't enough totally. 3 for 4 at the free throw line, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 turnover, 1 block, a -4. And then my final star of the game is Sabally. Niara's been on a real hot streak lately, and she kind of kept on it. She didn't shoot as well last night, but 29 minutes for Niara, 12 points on 5 of 12 shooting. Yeah. 1 of 4 from 3, 1 of 2 at the free throw line. Once again, I do not like her shooting style at the free throw line. I think that it's conducive to missing. She did get a double-double, 12 rebounds. She was getting almost all the rebounds for us. 3 assists, 5 turnovers, 4 steals, though, and a block, a -4. Yeah, I felt like Sabally is just such a powerful player. On defense, she was very tough, and at times she was the only one who seemed like was going after the rebounds correctly for us. And she's a really tough player. She's a fighter. She's in there fighting, and she's taking lumps. I seen her talk to Randy and trying to plead her case, and Randy's just like pissing her off because he's just not listening. In some ways, it's like, Randy Richardson, listen to these tempo players. They're telling you this and this and this. Some of the challenge calls were okay. The challenge call by the Dream was unsuccessful, and we had a challenge call that was. So at least those went right. At least those went right. Maria Conde, 28 minutes, 2 points, 1 of 4 shooting, 1 rebound, 3 assists, 1 turnover, a -17. That's the worst plus minus on the team. As I said, she was very chaotic from the start. She was causing turnovers. She's just a little bit too crazy all over the court. We got to rein it in. It could be fatigue. It could be overuse. Yescada, 14 minutes. That's the least amount of minutes she's played in a while. 0 points, 0 of 3, 0 of 1 from 3, 1 rebound, 2 turnovers, -16. I noticed with Yescada last night, she's bigger at this point in the season. At the beginning of the season, she wasn't so built up. I really truly believe she's hitting the weights hard, and she's really bulked up her body stronger in certain ways for the WNBA and what's been asked of her. So I appreciate that hard work of building her body because she has transformed. If you go and look at her from preseason to how she looks right now, she's bigger and stronger in the last few months. So, I mean, I got to give her credit for that. If not, she had a dud of a game, but at least Sandy knew that and pulled the plug on her playing midway through the game. Julie Alamon is just so good defensively. Even if she's not shooting, she's a plus on the court because she's so speedy. In fact, we saw another play last night where Julie just on pure hustle got us the ball away from the other team because she's like that. She's just like that. She can see just a sliver of daylight to go and make something happen with a steal or getting a ball, and she will go for it. She doesn't even hesitate, and she's often successful. So, yeah, Julie's fantastic. 26 minutes, only 3 points. She took that 1 3, and when she made the 3, I was like, man, she's such a professional. Like, she really is. I wish she would try to be more aggressive shooting. Alas, she comes from that mindset of Scotty Barnes and Steve Nash. She wants to help everybody else get going. And in some ways, she thinks of herself at the very last place. That's right. 1 of 2 from 3, all shots from 3, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 turnovers, 1 steal. It's not the best Julie game. She was a -16, but you have to give her some credit for some of the defense. And as Infamous said on his call earlier, Julie was a part of that team that was doing really well as a unit when we were doing really well and later in the game. Off the bench, we got a hot cup of coffee from Temi Fagbenle. Temi has been kind of a disappointment this season for us, but you know what? She's a pro. In some ways, her guidance and leadership has been around the team. That's been good for us. Kia Nurse, 3 minutes, missed the only three she took. She had a wide open look, and it would have been nice if Kia had hit that three at that time. So yeah, that's the box score. No appearance by Tiani Key. And like I said, this is duds. There's only two players in the starting lineup that got double digits, and then there's three on the bench that did. Yeah. On the other side, let's give some praise to the Atlanta Dream. A double-double for Angel Reese. She is truly a double-double machine. It's insane the percentage of games she's played in the WNBA that are double-doubles. It's absolutely phenomenal, and it really is a huge talent. Angel Reese, 29 minutes, 20 points on 7 of 14 shooting with 14 rebounds. Big time stuff. 22 points for Ryan Howard on the 6 of 11 shooting from three. She also had 7 assists, 0 turnovers herself with 3 steals also. And then the other 20-point scorer was Jordan Canada, who's just such a speedy pest. She is annoying. She is annoying, and she's very good. I'd love Canada to play for Canada someday. It would be really, really nice. 20 points for her on 6 of 13 shooting with 6 rebounds, 9 assists, 2 turnovers. And it was Alicia Gray night last night. I thought that was kind of weird that everybody was wearing shirts with her face on it and that people were wearing the glasses. I don't know totally why they did this. Like, seriously, is there something going on with Alicia that's sad? Like, are they trying to make her feel better or something like that? Why did y'all do this? Like, is it because she didn't make the All-Star game and y'all think she should have and you just want to show extra appreciation to her? I don't get this. I don't get why they did the whole glasses and t-shirts for Alicia Gray, one player on the team. In some ways, it's kind of weird. That could be like a minefield of folly for the Atlanta Dream organization. It's like, why are you doting so much on just this one player? Well, she's super popular and we love her and we want to celebrate her. And there's nobody on this team that'll be jealous. Of course not. No. Are you sure? Are you sure? Because when you put a spotlight on a player like that, sometimes these seeds can be sown. Let's just put it that way. This is dangerous. I've never seen this before. An active player on the roster getting such a heavy glazing by the franchise, the coach, the coaches, the players, the teammates, and the fans all wearing the glasses in honor of her and stuff like that. What's wrong? Is she in trouble? Did she have a bad health visit or something? Are they sad about something for her? So they're trying to make her feel better? I don't know. I get all these questions about this because this is so random and out of the blue. And it's like, okay, we'll just make it all about her tonight. Are you doing this for different players all year? Like, is there going to be an Angel Reese night? Is it going to be a Ryan Howard night? But no, you're just going to do Alicia Gray. I don't know. I don't get this. I don't get this. I mean, I get it. This look with the glasses. Maybe she's a great role model. She's a fantastic prototype of how you should be as a WNBA player and teammate and human being. Is it just, why is this celebration of Alicia Gray so big? I just don't get it. It missed on me. Like, what is this? I've never seen a coach coaching a game wearing a black T-shirt with a picture of just one of their players on the shirt, and that's it. That's weird. That's a weird look. Can you remember any of this shit? They've never done anything like this for LeBron James or Michael Jordan or anybody like that, have they? No. Maybe Kobe Bryant. Maybe Kobe, but that was after Kobe left and was gone, right? Yeah, this is weird, man. I thought that whole situation was weird. Brianna Jones was a force last night, but the refs were looking out for us because she was doing some kind of physical shit that was wrong with dirty cheap shots. And she's such a big player, she can hurt some people. So I do appreciate the referees calling some of the calls that they called on Bree Jones because she was a little out of pocket at times. She had 15 points off the bench, 5 of 5. Coach Carl saying that he wants to integrate her more into things as the season gets closer to the playoffs because he really does understand just how powerful Brianna Jones is and how much she can be very key for him in the playoffs for his team to win. So, yeah, that's what he was saying at the beginning of the game. Let's go over the team stats really fast. Some of them are very good. The tempo shot 52%, which is part of the reason why we think we had a lot of good progress is because they actually shot well and we did well. They shot better than the Dream, but the Dream got more shot opportunities and made one more field goal. They had 14 threes. We only had 10. You know, if Condé and Yescada were a little bit more normal, or Sabali was hitting her three a little bit better, maybe we would have caught up with the threes and it would have just been 7 threes from Mabrey, pretty much all of our threes. And we did shoot 38% from three. They shot 44. So that was key. The free throws, they caught up a little bit. 21 attempted free throws for the Tempo, 30 for the Dream. But as I said, I think Sandy quoted this stat that they had 17 free throws at the half and we had 3 free throws at the half. That's what we were talking about. And even if Chicago Cheetah disagrees with me, that stat don't lie. 17 free throw attempts for the Dream at halftime and only 3 for the Tempo. Come on now. Come on now. We're not stupid here. Come on now. That we got killed on the rebounds. You know, that's an area they've consistently killed us every game this season. In some ways, we didn't really improve in this game. That was one area we didn't do better on. We did better on guarding against the transition defense of the Dream, but we did not battle them better on the rebounds. And in some ways, I was hoping that would be different because of Morrow being on our team now. Alas, that wasn't the case. Anissa only got 1 rebound, and it was 25 to 39 on the rebounds. And 12 offensive rebounds for them, as I said earlier, was absolutely killing us with our ability to make the full comeback. You know, as the Tempo announcers were saying, Daniela talking about it'll be nice when the Tempo make these efforts, a comeback, and they'll finally come to fruition where they'll actually come back and get the W, overcoming it all. And that's part of the rite of passage of learning and progressing as a young inaugural team is, you know, we can keep making these runs to come back and being coming up short. One time we're going to come back and we're going to get the W and come back and get it. And that'll be another sign of progress. Another sign of progress. Assist to turnover ratio. Okay, I was wrong. We had 13 turnovers. I thought we had under 10 for some reason. 20 to 13. So that's not bad. That's way more assists than turnovers. So that's good. They were 29 to 14. So they had a 2-to-1. They had a 2-to-1. Fast break points, we had 8. That's pretty good. And points in the paint, we won by 2, 46 to 44. Yeah, just a tough game. Tough game. Their largest lead was 25, and we won. We lost by 12. So we made up some of that stuff by the end, and that's good. That's good. Yeah, let's see. Shaq Lindsay saying this: Kawhi's recent promotion to expand his reputation in China also might rub the American media in the wrong way. The fact that America's at odds with China, Kawhi's reputation is glorified in Canada and China, but vilified in America. I mean, we don't want to write these stories ourselves. I mean, seriously. In some ways, you know, Kawhi's going to be Kawhi. He's been vilified by people in the American media for a long time. I mean, Skip Bayless looks at him as villain number 1. Skip Bayless has not said a nice thing about Kawhi Leonard in 10 years. So it's like, you know, this isn't new. You know, there's been a lot of like trash talking Kawhi for being hurt, for being the way he was in San Antonio, for turning his back on the Raptors, for all kinds of different things. So none of this is new. And in some ways, Kawhi is in his own bubble, away from it all, and it doesn't really matter. In some ways, we've got to all learn to tune the outside noise out too, to a degree. Seriously, we really do. Kareem Thomas is saying this: I get super triggered when I hear Hulk Hogan, Macho Man, and Elizabeth. You get triggered, like hopefully in a good way, maybe. I don't know. You're not saying whether it's a good or a bad thing. Like seriously, you know, you're not saying that that's a good or a bad thing. Triggered like that, you know. Shaq Lindsay's saying, in my opinion, there are 2 kings who are retiring around the same time, LeBron and Kawhi. Both won rings in different cities and were unsuccessful in LA. In the end, LBJ comes out a hero and Kawhi is the villain. Well, it depends on who you talk to and where. I mean, this is very similar to Bret Hart in his wrestling career. Bret Hart's absolute hero in Canada. He spoke the truth about the United States when he was wrestling, and even though people didn't want to hear it, everything he said was true. And when he was doing that whole anti-American thing, everything he would say in his promos was true about the United States. And this people in the States hate him. People in the States love Shawn Michaels, but hate Bret Hart. And it's the reverse in Canada. We all hate Shawn Michaels up here, except for Chris Boucher, who loves him. And we love Bret Hart up here. So it's kind of, you know, it's similar to that in some ways. We could compare LeBron and Kawhi to Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels. And in some ways, LeBron James, we hate him because of LeBronto, right? We hate him because of LeBronto, right? Yeah. Kaloy's saying, oh shit, sad to hear that, Lex. Man, I tried so hard for the last month. It was really, I spent a lot of hours on the phone talking to those guys, trying to help them. And they're hopeless cases. First of all, besides the whole thing about him being MAGA, he was refusing to quit drinking. I said, I'm not going to help you until you stop drinking. You have to go to a detox. You have to go in there. First of all, you'll have a roof over your head instead of laying in the middle of the park and getting woken up by a lawnmower trying to run your head over. Yeah, that shit was happening to him. I'm like, he's sleeping in a park. And the parks guy is coming around with the lawnmower and he's like drunk and off his ass and waking up and shit like that. And I was like, dude, go to the detox. You'll have a roof over your head. You can get a shower. You can get a good sleep. And he refused. He said, I'm never going to quit drinking. I'm never going to quit drinking. I'm like, well, I can't help you then because I don't trust you to send any financial help to you if you're not going to at least try and get help. Seriously. And he started changing his tune. He initially told me he wanted to get out of there because he thought he was going to die. And he said, no, I'm not leaving New Hampshire now. I was like, dude, you're homeless and you're in New England. You should go to Florida. It's warmer in the winter. You know, your partner died of exposure last year because of the winter in New England. But meanwhile, you're going to stay up there. You know, you're jerking us all around because you first said you needed to help to get a ticket to Florida. And I was willing to buy you a bus ticket to get to Florida just to get you the fuck out of Manchester. But man, he didn't listen. And then it degenerated when their politics came out and they started saying all this crazy shit. Like his buddy who's with him said, I believe in pulling yourself up with your own bootstraps. Motherfucker, I'm socialism on the phone. And if you want socialism, I'll help you. But if you really think you need to pull your bootstraps up to get help and stuff like that, well, you go ahead and pull your bootstraps up, motherfucker, out of the gutter, you drunk, sorry sons of bitches. Seriously, that's where it got to with that. And as soon as he made overtures, it's like, yeah, I don't respect Canada. I was like, all right, we have nothing else to talk about. You're dead to me. You're dead to me. I hadn't seen him in 25 years. You know, I hadn't talked to him since 1990s. So it's like, I mean, I hadn't seen him in person since the 1990s. So it's like, way to shoot yourself in the foot. Like, seriously, you know, in some ways, yeah, you're getting punished for being a Trump voter. That's exactly what's happening here. That's exactly what's happening here. Chuck Lindsay's saying this Kawhi stay silent, but let your game do the talking. However, Jeannie Buss, shut the fuck up. Stop snitching. Man, Jeannie Buss is innocent. She did not take the deal with them. She's just like Masai. They didn't do it. That's right. Infamous is saying this. Can you imagine if the Raptors gave into Kawhi's demands, how hard the league would come down on us? Scary. That's why we have to do it by the book. That's why we have to be the creme de la creme, top-notch organization that the Toronto Raptors are. It's like that's why we do things the right way, because we can't take shortcuts. In some ways, we have to play to our strengths. In some ways, we know this. In some ways, Steve Ballmer is a billionaire, and he thinks he can do whatever the fuck he wants, and there's no repercussions. And that's the difference. That's the difference. Right there. Right there. Infamous is saying, I won't say who, but we can kind of see who will probably not be with the tempo next season. Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. And even some of the people that you think may not be there, they may need to still be there for different reasons because they're still the best options. And I would say this, some of the people that we're talking about today that we don't think should be starting are absolutely good, valuable people to have on our team going years forward. It maybe just as fleshing out the whole rotation. You know, in some ways, Maria Conde may not totally be a WNBA starter right now. She may be at the level of like Cecilia for the Valkyries. You know, she could be that kind of role for us. Not starting, but a very important offensive straw stirrer that gets out there and revs the game up and gets things going and all over the place and stuff like that. Like, that's a good thing. That's a good, powerful player. Yosqueda is very powerful and good in a lot of ways too. It's just that they've been thrown into the deep end, and they should have started in the shallow end and kind of made their way out to the depths slowly and not just thrown right into it. You know, that's it right there. Cool Cat saying this. Good morning, Raptor Freak family. Even though we are losing, our game performance is improving. Yes, that's the theme for today. We just need consistency from some of our core players. Yeah, and I think that the core players should switch and the starters should switch. I think that's a big theme for today too. We'll have to see who uh, Sandy starts against Dallas on Wednesday, and that will be what our stream is tomorrow. A preview of the Toronto Tempo at Dallas Wings, continuing this road trip we're on right now. That's right. Let's see. Some of our current starters will be amazing bench role players for next season. We are still looking good. That's exactly what I was just saying. Look at that. Cool Cat and I, Coach Cool Cat and I are thinking the same thing. Exactly. Coach is also saying Alicia has goggles contract with Nike. So they called it Goggles Lish Night to promote her branding. Then this came after Barbie night. Okay. So it is totally a marketing thing with Nike and all this stuff. I still think it's kind of goofy and corny. And as long as she's universally liked and popular, there shouldn't be any repercussions of this on the team. But if there's anybody on the team that's kind of jealous of this could actually cause problems for a team that you make somebody such a big deal out of somebody like that. Seriously. I mean, I can write all kinds of narratives and stories about how this could be toxic. I could do it. Yep. Yep. Infamous is saying, sorry to hear about your friend, Lex. Not telling you what to do, but in situations like this, ask yourself, what would Christ do? Well, I want to be honest right now, guys. That was something that I really battled with the last few days, whether I'm right in turning my back on him. You've got to understand, this is a friend that I've helped consistently since he was a teenager. This is somebody that I housed and helped in a lot of different places in our lives. This is not the first time I've helped him. And I didn't execute helping him. I wanted earnestly to help him, but in some ways I can't do this. I'm sorry. I have principles on this. And I'll be honest with you guys too. I don't totally consider myself a Christian. Just so you know. I'm not somebody who goes to church regularly. I've not been indoctrinated into organized religion, really. I'm a very spiritual person that has studied a lot of different religious beliefs, and I take a little bit from everybody. I've never considered myself a Christian. You guys have to know that straight up. Some of the religiosity that I get from Trevor and Randolph is some of the most religious stuff that I've ever gotten in my life. I stopped going to church in Sunday school when I was 7, and I've barely gone to church since. And that's fine. That's my own choice. I'm very much more agnostic than actually a true Christian. In fact, I'd represent myself as a Buddhist before a Christian. I represent myself as a pagan who believes in the natural world and nature before a Christian. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I do like a lot of the tenements of Christianity and a lot of the beliefs that Trevor and Randolph profess in this channel. But I'll be honest, I don't self-identify as a Christian. I don't. I never have. And religion has never been a huge important part to me. It's only been more in recent years that I've been listening to you guys and getting more involved and thinking about it. And when I thought about all this, I mean, this is my right to choose this. I mean, if I want to send somebody money or try and do something for a good cause, I want to make sure it's a good cause. And at this point, I don't think it's a good cause. And there's two reasons to it. It's not just the political part. Sure, that was the absolute turnoff, but also the part that he's a hopeless drunk and he doesn't want to get help. So, and he even told me the day before this all went south, and I said, no more contact. I'm not talking to you. I don't want to deal with you. You're on your own. He even told me that, just forget about me. I'm no good. Just leave me to die, and said all this crazy shit and said, yeah, I'm suicidal. I don't care anymore. He has like 9 kids. None of those kids are involved in his life. He's turned his back on and been an absent parent his whole entire life. And he can't even have the courage to try and close things with them or try and come back around and see them. It's just a real mess. And in some ways, I didn't mind trying to help him. But at that point, and the way they gloated about it and laughed at me, I was like, you know what? Fuck you guys. You don't have respect for my country, my citizenship, where I live. Then why should I be helping you? Like bending over backwards, investing the time and trying to talk to you and help you. I mean, I spent hours on the phone trying to counsel him as a sponsor to try and help him with his alcoholism and his drinking. And he was literally getting drunk on the phone, more and more drunk. And by the end of the phone call, he passed out. And I'm like, you're hopeless. I'm like, I can't help you if you're going to be at this situation. And every opportunity that I gave him, as far as things, he was dismissive, or he's like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Well, I don't know how to fucking help you, bro. You're being absolutely difficult. And I was spending way too much of my time invested in trying to help him in the last month, too. You guys don't understand. I had like 5-hour calls with him trying to help him while he's out in the street. And it just got to the point where it was disrespectful. You know, they started saying very disrespectful things about progressives and Canada. And I'm like, nah, why am I trying to help this person? Seriously. Why am I trying to help this person? Yeah. So I don't know what Jesus would do. I mean, I'm more than willing to help people. I help people all the time, but I'm not going to help people that are absolutely the kind of people that are, I don't have to say this, do I? You guys can understand why I wouldn't help him. Seriously. KT saying this, it was my first time witnessing infidelity. Oh, with Hogan and Savage. That's not even what that was, though. Like Randy kept saying, I saw the lust in your eyes, Hogan. I saw the lust in your eyes. And like as a kid, I always thought, he's putting his hand on her butt when he put her up on his shoulder. Like he's and I think that's part of why Macho Man went crazy and the mega powers exploded on Saturday night's main event. And like they're having a tag match, and Elizabeth gets hit and she's hurt and she's going to the back, and Macho's still wrestling, and Hogan leaves the match to go check on her in the back. And meanwhile, Randy's getting beat up. And then he runs to the back and he's like, why are you back here with her? You should be out there helping me and all this stuff. And yeah, it's a crazy situation, that Saturday night's main event. I told my friend, I'm praying for you. I want only blessings and good things to happen to you. I don't want bad things to happen to you, but I cannot help you myself. So basically, I didn't wish him ill will. I said, this is really sad and disappointing. I wish you luck, blessings, good health, safety, security, and all those kind of things, but I cannot help you any further at this point. I cannot. That's right. Yeah, Infamous is saying Mara looks just like one of my sisters. Okay. Okay, your sister's tough, eh? Shaq Lindsay saying this, you did the right thing, Lex. Relationships are built on trust. No one is saying not to befriend him by stop helping him. But at this point, the best thing for you is prayer. Yeah. Yeah. And I don't want to, like, seriously, I could have gave him the money that we were supposed to give him, and he could have died, and I would have had an awful thing on my conscience. So I do appreciate his friend reaching out to me from the outside and saying he's not telling you the truth. He's absolutely having huge problems. And I'm telling you, because he even told me, he admitted to me after I confronted him on like how much his issues are. He said, yeah, I almost went and got crack last night too. So it's like, this is a serious thing. You drop some money on him for a bus ticket and he's not taking it to go get the bus ticket. Maybe I should have bought the bus ticket straight up. But once again, I'm not going to buy him a bus ticket and then he doesn't even show up because he's not committed to actually leaving, because he's still kind of doing things. Like, people have to want to do things for themselves, whether it's to go to Florida to get away from New Hampshire or to stop drinking. And if he didn't want to stop drinking, well, I can't help him because he's hopeless then. In some ways, if you haven't hit your bottom in the way that you have to live right now on the street like this, I don't know what your freaking bottom is. And when you're going to get to the point where you say, I need help, I'm sick of this, I give up, and I want to turn my life around. It's a bad thing. Shaq Lindsay, I appreciate you saying that. I mean, I do have some feelings of guilt about it. In some ways, I totally thought about what Infamous is saying. Like, what would Jesus do? And what is the right thing here? Listen, trust me, I have a very long table and I will help as many people as I can. But you've got to also understand, with this individual, we've done so much to help him over the years, like going all the way back to like the early 90s. So it's like we've done our part. It's just that at this point, he's just messed up with MAGA propaganda. And like it's sad, man. Yeah. Shaq Lindsay saying, you cannot help those who do not want to be helped. Pray for God to intercede in his life. I hope so too. I mean, I almost felt like telling him, is like, all right, you believe in the child rapist so much, Well, let's see if he helps you out and saves your ass since you think he's so great. Yeah, that's the last thing on the priority list of Donald Trump is to try and help a black man that's homeless in the streets of Manchester, New Hampshire. Seriously. In fact, this guy's such an idiot. He's been getting hassled by ICE in this whole thing too, and he's still diehard, passionately a Trump head. I can't believe this. I mean, that's how crazy this cult of personality is around this pedophile and this rapist, man. I mean, he was golfing this week with surface to air missiles behind him. Like something's wrong here. This is looking like Kim Jong Un, North Korea kind of shit, United States, where your taxpayer money is going towards your dictator to play golf, and you're paying all this money for army personnel and army equipment to be out on a golf course just so he can have his jollies and play golf. Something's wrong here. Priorities of that country are all screwed up right now. All screwed up. I heard a story about Mark Zuckerberg. He's got his cruise ship going around Alaska, and there's a marooned uh, boat out in the middle of the ocean and in trouble. And there's women and children and a dog on the boat. And Mark Zuckerberg's cruise ship refused, or yacht refused to help these people. They were the closest ship, and they asked them to go help them, and they said no. And somebody else went and helped them. I mean, that tells you all you need to know about the founder of Meta as far as whether he gives a shit about other people or not. If he's willing to not save a family out in the middle of the ocean like that and turn his back on it, then why the fuck do we give him all our data and trust in Meta and Facebook and Instagram? Seriously, that's what I say right there. All right, we need this. Randolph is here. Let's see what he's saying. Blessings, beloved Raptor Freaks fam. When assistance comes into enabling harmful behavior, okay, this is right on time, and it violates personal stewardship, you must allow for natural consequences in the hope of accountability. I think he just absolved me. I appreciate that. Because seriously, I mean, I know how addiction can be. And if you give money to an addict and they're not ready to get help, you may be giving them a death sentence. And that's what I think was happening here. And man, Randolph, your words hit hard right now. I mean, I'm going through this in my mind. And I've been really having a hard week because of this, because I really have had this moral conundrum. And I've really thought about it a lot in a lot of different ways. So sure, maybe I reacted in anger a little bit when I heard them, disrespecting Canada and saying the things they were saying, and I acted out in anger initially. And you guys have seen my temper on this channel, and in some ways, I feel bad about that. But also, at the same time, I feel like it was the right decision at that time, just because I'm putting a lot of effort and energy into this, and I did earnestly want to help him, but I don't think he wanted to help himself, and that's the problem right there. That's the problem right there. That's it right there. Yeah, Infamous is saying the MAGA is the new Nazi party. Yeah. Yeah. There's by-elections coming up around Ontario. I know my district's going to have an election on September the 3rd. And, we need to vote. We need to make sure we vote. I think one of the biggest problems in Ontario is people don't realize there's votes going on. And there's a vote in the beaches in August, and there's votes coming up. So pay attention to when votes are happening, and don't be apathetic and say my vote doesn't count or I don't need to vote or anything like that. The voting numbers and turnouts for the city of Toronto are dismal and awful. And I know some of it is because everybody's so busy just trying to run the rat race just to afford that city. But you can't allow this to not happen. You guys need to vote and stop being jaded, and you need to make it count. And in some ways, you need to strategically vote, because we have a weird party system up here. And sometimes the best thing to do is to vote for the best party that's got the best chance, that's most in line with what you think, and not necessarily the party you're affiliated with. That's part of the reason why Carney won, is because a lot of NDP people had to switch over and say, yeah, there's no Pierre for sure. We got to vote for Carney if we're really going to be protecting our country. And that has turned out to be the right choice in the years since. He's not perfect, and there are some serious issues with Carney, but the alternative is much worse, honestly, at that choice at that time. Yeah. Cool Cat saying, Lex, you did your best to help your friend. You cannot really help an addict until they're ready. No amount of money will help. I know. And he was presenting himself initially as being clean and not having a problem. I was talking to him and he was sounding very thing, but it was not. The last few times I talked to him this past week, he was really in a bad place and really not able to take care of himself or anything. So, and I was very clear with him. I was like, look, if I send you money, I want you to spend it on a place to stay and food and eating and like doing healthy things. You really have to be disciplined right now. He's like, oh yeah, yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that. Don't worry. And in some ways, it was lucky. There were bank delays on the money hitting his account, and that's he would have got it all like instantly. It may have been a problem, but there was actually a wait period, and in that wait period, they shot themselves in the foot, and we canceled the transfer to them. So it sucks. In some ways, it's like, look, I'm gonna pray for him, like you guys said. I'm gonna wish the best for him, and who knows? Maybe I'll find out down the road that he is okay and he turned things around. But it's not for me to help him at this point. It's not for me to help him. Yeah. Yeah. Shaq Lindsay's saying this. Little do you know, God is interceding. God is merciful, but jealous God. He will take away everything that you put before him so that you can see him. We'll have to see over time. I listen, you guys, I don't want you guys to think that I'm some sort of heathen because I don't self-identify as a Christian. In some ways, I don't feel like I've earned that right because I don't wholeheartedly believe I am. But I do believe in the teachings of Jesus Christ. I do believe in being good to each other in all the positive ways that Christianity teaches. And I definitely champion those kind of values and ideals in my life. And I feel like you can do that. I feel like you can do that because I feel like some people really are overly like overbearing about being Christians, but they're not really acting in a Christian way. And they'll say it, but they don't really walk the talk. And in some ways, I'm the opposite. I'm not trying to identify as it, but I'll walk the talk and treat my life in a way as a Christian should and try and make the right decisions in those kind of ways too. You know? Yeah. Shaq Lindsay's saying rock bottom is when you hold on to the rock God. Yeah. I know I had my rock bottom in 2010. And that was enough to put the fear of God into me to never drink again. And God willing, I have not. I have not had a single drop of alcohol since October or November, I think. November of no, it was really October of 2010. November of 2010. I have not had a single drop of alcohol since. And it's been a very good positive change. And my rock bottom scared the hell out of me to keep me sober for 16 years since. So yeah, that's what you got to have. Everybody's is different, and in some ways, he's got to go through it to deeper levels, obviously, than I had to. I mean, I saw enough to scare me at that point. All right, let's do the tempo Redditor of the day. Today's tempo Redditor of the day is that Belge, and they're all about the Allemand dimes. We might see Slim back very soon. Brittany Sykes posted a post on Instagram yesterday that was very cryptic. She said, band almost back together on the post, and Kiki put locks, and Toronto Tempo said, yep, yep, yep. Maybe she's being overly optimistic, but Sykes posted on Instagram that she will be back soon. Imagine we would have a full roster after FIBA break. That would be fun to watch develop, or maybe even before. Is there any info whether she's already participating in training? I thought she was doing non-contact training. Well, Sandy said yesterday in the pregame interview, she's doing half-court activities, but she's not running full court. And she has been participating in practice more. It's sounding more and more, according to the broadcast last night and some of the information we're hearing, that is the target time to a target for her to come back. Why ramp her up with just a few games before the FIBA break? Go ahead and wait and get her to come back and just play the tail end of the season after the FIBA break in the second half of September. So I think that's the plan for Brittany Sykes at this point, is hold her off for the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games, and then see her in September after they all come back from FIBA. This is like, it'd be dumb to ramp her up and then all of a sudden we're on this long break and then you got to ramp her up again. Go ahead and give her that really long break for health and then revisit her coming back in for after FIBA. I think that's going to be the plan. So thank you to the Belge, they're Belgian fan, I guess. You're the tempo Redditor of the day, not kerfuffles. That's kind of crazy. It's always kerfuffles. It's always kerfuffles. All right, let me do the straight goods on Canadian goods. Guys, it's you guys got to wash your dishes. And if you wanted to know a good Canadian product for dish soap? Ecomax. Ecomax is fantastic. Take on dish duty with the potent power of plant-based, readily biodegradable ingredients. Our natural concentrated dishwash is tough on grease but gentle on hands, made with hydrating aloe vera and without added scents. It's a non-toxic clean that's easy on you and the planet. It effectively cleans dishes and grease and grime. Cleanest plant-based sustainable ingredients, readily biodegradable, vegan-friendly formula, safe for septic systems, made with 100% green electricity, safer for sensitive skin, no animal testing, no harsh chemicals, Enviro bottle made with 100% food grade recycling plastic. I mean, this is just sounds great all around. For me, I like hypoallergenic because I don't like scents and stuff. It can give me allergy attacks. So this is like the perfect product. It's green, it's Canadian, it's got no scents to drive me nuts, and it does the job. It gets your dishes clean. So yeah, Ecomax. And this particular brand is my favorite, the hypoallergenic ultra dishwash. But there's a lot of different ones. If you do like scents and you do want a certain scent, they probably have it, and it'll be green and all the other things that I read too along with it. So yeah, for your cleaning purposes, Ecomax sells not just dish soap, but other cleaning products also. So check them out. A great Canadian company that you can buy Canadian cleaners instead of buying from Dow or any of the big chemical companies from down south. That's what it is right there. That's what it is right now. Checking in with the HD real quick. We're on the last line of, oh wait, we're on the first line of gate 4 now. We've moved to gate 4 of the HD, and it's the gate of formalization. This is the this gate is we're looking for logical answers to doubts. This is the energy of theorizing and formulating a mental plan for the future. So expect to be thinking about your plans and how they can be achieved. Where do you want to get to in your life? Precisely how are you going to get there? This can bring us a sense of relief. We can overcome our sense of helplessness about where we are heading. This is a big theme right now, is faith in God and faith in the creator that things are going to start working out in the right way for you. There's a portal that's open right now through the stars in the galaxy and all kinds of astronomical events, solar eclipse. New moon is actually tomorrow. There's a Perseid meteor shower. There's all this energy that's out in the universe right now that's giving you energy for abundance. It's giving you, there's new things coming, and that unexpected pleasant surprises and changes in your life are on the way is what's going on. So the word for today is pleasure. This is interesting. Yeah, it's the ultimate pleasure cannot be achieved without perfect timing. In detriment, timing is not a product of discipline. Exaggerated self-discipline leads to the abuse of pleasure, the potential to recognize, but the urge to force the timing. But in exaltation, in proper, it's the instinct to know the right moment and circumstances where pleasure is rewarded and not punished. The potential to recognize that there is a natural timing to the understanding process. So yeah, we'll be in gate 4 for 6 days now. And gate 4 is located in the, where is the gate 4? What chakra is it in? It looks like it is, oh, it's up in the ajna, and it connects to the brain, the crown. Yeah, gate 4. All right, y'all. Thanks for letting me indulge in my human design lesson for today. And that's that for that. Any breaking news on the wire right now? Let's see if there's any Raptors. Okay. Doug Smith is saying this an hour ago. How the NBA missed Raptors versus Clippers on Christmas Day is beyond me. Well, I would say this, Doug. In some ways, this aspiration thing, they probably want everybody to forget about it. And in some ways, as much as a rivalry between the Clippers and the Raptors for the season coming up, as much as we're going to do it in preseason with a game in Vancouver, the NBA probably does not want to put this on their marquee day and remind everybody about Steve Ballmer, aspiration, and Kawhi Leonard. And that's probably the main reason why right there. So it's a weird thing. It is a really tasty rivalry and a good matchup. But also at the same time, the NBA doesn't really want to promote it or have it in everybody's face because it's going to be reminding people of, this summer and the bullshit. This kind of stuff right now. So yeah, yeah. All right, that's the breaking news. Is Doug Smith's quote there? Let's see. We got a birthday today, and it's a special birthday for us personally. It's not a Raptor or a coach. It is our Discord admin, Nins. Nins is a Raptor freak that lives in Philadelphia, and he's been helping us run things on the channel. He's been in charge of helping me with the emoticons and some of the things here on this in the YouTube, and also he's been our Discord administrator, helping our Discord run smoothly also. So let's say a big happy birthday to Raptor Freak Nins, whose birthday is today. That's right. All right, let's get the classic card and let's get out of here. I guess we're over 2 hours. So yeah, let's get the classic card. And I'll open up another one of those WNBA packs again at some point, but not today. All right, we'll go with a cartoon card today, guys. So full name answer on this cartoon right here, and you get the classic card. This may be too easy. Just name me this Warner Brothers Looney Tune, who's very, very easy. So yeah, if you know the name of this character, you will get the classic card of the day. Classic card's a little weird right now. It is. It's a little weird right now. So yeah, full name answer. You can get the points real quick. Let's see. Do I have it on top chat? Why is it on top chat? I hope I didn't miss any comments because I've had it on top chat today. Let's see. Yeah, y'all, it's easy. It's easy points. Classic card of the day. Make sure you're live. Which character is that? I mean, we should know this. If you're a child of the 80s or 90s, you should probably know this. Maybe newer people don't know who this is. I think everybody knows who this is. This is kind of a iconic cartoon character. The other side is a guy we had the other day, which was Daffy. So I'm not doing that side. But who is this side? I don't even know why I'm covering it up. His name's not on the card. His name is not on the card anywhere for you to get it. All right, nobody wants to get it. We're going to call 1, 2, 3 on this. There you go. Slugged easy. King of the classic card. Go ahead and get Yosemite Sam. Just the easy points right there. Yeah, it's easy, so I'm going to give you 50. That's too easy. But yeah, Yosemite Sam is the classic card of the day. A little bit weird. A little bit weird. I need to get those WNBA cards going. Yosemite Sam, slugged easy, back on the points with the 50 points for Yosemite Sam. It's been a little while, slugged easy, since you got a classic card. So yeah, good to see you get one. All right, 50 points to Slug. He's just going to get higher in his lead. I believe you're going to be going to, let me just see for sure. Okay, you're 2,700. That's where you're at. 2,700 for Slugged Easy, number one on the Raptor Freak trivia standings at this point. All right, I guess I'll wrap it up, guys. Tough game for the tempo, but progress is shown. Progress in dealing with transition defense that's so hyper and crazy from Alicia Gray and Jordan Canada and the others. And then also progress with Marina showing up and doing stuff. Kiki progressing and getting back to full speed. And Anissa Morrow learning more and more about playing for the tempo. Yeah, progress was made. There was some good stuff shown in it, even if the W didn't come. Congratulations to the Dream. Y'all have swept us. You're a good team, and I expect good things out of you in the playoffs. You just got to play dedicated and disciplined to what your coach Carl wants y'all to do. And as long as y'all stay on point and stay consistent, you guys could do really good in the playoffs. So, that's what you need to do. If I'm going to give any advice to our opponent from last night, you got to stay consistent and play at a high level when you're playing against teams like Minnesota and Las Vegas. So, yeah. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Preview of the Toronto Tempo at the Dallas Wings, Paige Beckers versus Marina Mabrey. It's going to be another good matchup. All right, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Get out there and touch grass and, do the right thing. And hopefully, like I said, I'm praying for this guy. I hope he's going to be all right. But I can't help him myself anymore. I just can't. All right, love you guys. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Let's go Tempo.